Welcome back. In this video, we will talk about adding pages into your ePortfolio. We talked a little bit in the previous video about how this default page that is created inside of WordPress is a default blog page. And you are probably familiar with the difference between what a blog is and what a static website is, but just in case you don't, a blog is typically like you see with news and self-published blogs where new content is put up on top and old content is pushed down, and you can get to a point where you scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down for like ever to look at the content that's built up over time with the blog. We want a static web page where you have certain content inside of it and it stays the way that it is until someone comes in and actually changes up the page, typically an administrator of the website. So more like you would typically see when you visit like a store site or a news site or something, where you have a home page and you have a main menu and you have different pages that you go to visit, and the content is there and stays the same. But in order to do that with WordPress, we actually have to kind of trick it into being a static website instead of a blog site. So let's begin. Let's take a look at how we would begin to do that. And if we come over here into this main administration window, we see on the left hand side we see a link called WP Admin, which means WordPress Admin. And if we click it, it takes us to what is called the dashboard. And the dashboard is home base for everything that you really need to do inside of WordPress for creating your ePortfolio, as far as adding pages, as far as working, editing, and making your menus, adding your content, adding your text into your pages, all of that kind of stuff. It's all done here in the dashboard. So you will become familiar with this dashboard page really quickly. And it really is great because you can take care of everything from there. So on the left-hand side in the menu, we see a link called Pages. And if I click on All Pages, this gives us a list of every page that is inside of our ePortfolio. And we see a page already listed called About. And you might be, thinking like, well, I haven't created a page yet, so why is that there? Well, this About page, this is that default blog page that automatically is created. So that is why we already see one there. But you need to create the pages that you want to have inside of your ePortfolio from here. And hopefully you've taken some time to think about the kind of content that is going to be in your ePortfolio and how that is going to be organized. And if you haven't been recommended or suggested to do a sitemap yet, I will go ahead and recommend that you create what's known as a sitemap. And it really is just a quick, like you could do it with a pencil and paper. It's just a really quick sketch out of the organization of your website and how it'll flow. And so, as we typically always have a home page. That's the page that you first land on when you visit the URL. And for you, it should, be something like, hi, welcome to my ePortfolio. Then you might create a menu of pages. You might create pages that organize your work. You might have like a group called photography, and you might have a group called video, and you might have a group called writing. And inside of writing, you might want to have a page called news writing, journalism writing, and freelance writing, or however you want to organize it. News photography, art photography, and just photography for fun, or however you want to organize it. But it is highly recommended that you take the time to think about that, how your work is going to be organized, and how you want the website to kind of flow when you're working with the menu. It'll save you a lot of time if you know ahead of time what you want. It's really going to help you out. So let's go back into WordPress. Let's go back into, this is, we're on the pages part of the dashboard. This is the dashboard again. And let's go ahead and create a home page, because we know that every site, in the world, like pretty much has a home page that you go to. And we don't want it to be this default blog page. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click Add New. And I'm going to give it a name and I'm going to call it Home. And I'm not really going to worry too much about what I put into these pages yet. We will come back and worry about that later when we're working with content. Right now, you can kind of think of all of this as creating the skeleton for our ePortfolio. So I'm just going to put something simple in here, like, welcome to my ePortfolio. And you can save it as a draft, or you can go ahead and publish. I would just say go ahead and publish it. It's easy to create a draft and forget. If you save it as a draft, it's not like really live or active, if that makes sense. And so let's not worry about that because we can forget it. Let's just go ahead and publish it, and that'll make it active. So now if I come back into the all pages, as we would expect, now we see two. We see that default page that was created, that about page, and we have that home page that we just made. But as of right now, WordPress is set up so that when you enter in the URL for your ePortfolio, it's going to take you to that default blog page. It doesn't matter how many pages we create in here. It still takes us to this. We need to force it. We need to tell WordPress that we don't care about this page. We want people to come to the home page. So to do that, we need to come back in the dashboard, and we need to go to, give me a second. It always takes me a quick second to find this one. Okay, yeah, so we come over here to the left to Appearance, and we need to come to Customize. And this will take us into yet another new window that we've never seen yet inside of WordPress. This is the Customize window, the Customize portal, whatever you want to call it. And we don't really need to worry too much about what's in here. What we do care about, though, is we see this static front page. And we're going to click that, and we get these options. Front page displays your latest posts or a static page. And as you've hopefully figured out by now, this your latest post correlates to this page that was automatically created. And we don't want that. We're going to click a static page. And then it's going to say, well, what do you want? What do you want your front page to be? Front page, home page, whatever you want to call it. What do you want it to be? And we are going to say, you know what? I want it to be my home page, that page that I just created called Home. I want that to be where people are sent to when they enter in the URL for my ePortfolio. And it's going to say, what do you want your post page to be? Because you can still have posts. You can have a blog page within a static website. We don't want to worry about that. Let's not worry about that. So let's just leave it blank. And if we are happy with what we've selected, we can say save and publish up here in the left. And, you know, if we are really lucky, meaning that it works right away, we can come back into our portfolio and refresh it. And what do you know, when I refresh it, what I see is the home page, the home page that we just created. So fantastic. It worked. We didn't have any issues. And that's exactly what we wanted to see. So now we have an ePortfolio with a static home page that when the URL is entered for your ePortfolio, whatever it is, for us it's, testelonportfolio.wordpress.com. They will come here and they will come to the home page. Fantastic. What we need to do now is we need to create the rest of the pages that we know that we will want inside of our ePortfolio. So I'm going to get out of this customize window. We don't need it anymore. We've done what we needed there. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to find, and again, if for whatever reason you lose your dashboard and you're at the main administrative page or some of the other pages, you'll see WP admin listed somewhere, and click on it, and great, now we're back in the dashboard. And I'm going to go back into pages. And I'm just gonna create these pages. Like it's a little bit tedious, a little bit redundant here, but it's worth going through the steps all at once. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create every page that I know that we need to have for our ePortfolio. And so, for example, a lot of people will have an About Me page. In fact, it's recommended that you do have an About Me page in your ePortfolio. Hi, my name is Kenny. Again, I'm just creating, what we can call the skeleton for this. So I'm not worried about adding a bunch of content. I'm not worried about typing all that up, some introduction. We'll get to that at another point. So let's not worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say publish. Great, I have an About Me page. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to click Add New again, and I'm going to say, I need a page for some of my photography. For example, I'm a photojournalist student, and I really, want to be able to showcase my photography. So here are some photos. And then publish. And I'm going to keep going with them. I'm going to keep making them while I know that I need to make them. So add new again. Maybe I'm a sports broadcasting student, and I really want to get a sports broadcaster position on a news team. So, I better be able to showcase my reels and my videos, so I'm going to create a video page. And I keep going through the same process. I have some pretty good writing skills, and I want to be able to showcase some, really good, maybe it's press releases or whatever it is that you've done that are written, and you want to showcase that. So here are So here are some papers I've written. And we'll talk about, when we get to the video about adding content, we will talk about using a service called Scribed to embed written documents, PDF documents, and Microsoft Word documents directly into your page. It's a really great tool, and we'll talk about that later. But anyway, so I'm going to create this publish page, and then finally, I'll probably want, clicking add new again, I'll probably want a page where I will host my resume. And I'm going to publish. And so I think, for now, I think that's good. I have, my sitemap. I knew what I needed. I created all the pages that I needed, and I can go take a look at that. Now, if I go back into all pages, as we would expect and as we would hope, we see every page that we've created. And really quickly, we see that we have the About Me page that we've created, but we still have that About page sitting there. That was that default blog post. Remember, we really don't like that page, right? So now that we have all of our other pages created, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trash it. I'm going to click on the trash button. I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm hopefully never going to have to worry about it again. I have the static pages for the kind of work, my home page, and my About Me page that I created myself, and that's what I want. So that's what you do to go in and create all of the pages that you need to have for your ePortfolio. So in the next video, what we can do is we can talk about how to create the menu for your ePortfolio, so that your visitors can see what pages you have. You're very familiar with what a main menu for a website is. So let's talk about that in the next video. See you then.